Please welcome Nick Kleveroff, Chief Creative Officer at Native Foreign.
Hello, everybody. What's shaking? How are we doing today? Good, good, good. Everyone's getting some coffee, getting some things. So here we are, day 2 of the Upscale Conference. My name is Nick Kleveroff. I'm Chief Creative at Native Foreign. We are building IP in the age of AI. So first, I just want to say thank you to Magnific, and thank you to all of you beautiful people in this room for being here today. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. Magnific, formerly known as FreePic, really knows how to throw an event, and Upscale Conference is quite a special place. You know, last year here in San Francisco, I met a lot of great people that I ended up collaborating with, working with, and here we are, back in San Francisco again at the Midway. I've been in this building once before. It was actually the first time I met a couple of community members in our little AI world. I met August here. I met Maddie here for the first time. Maddie recognized me as the Toys R Us guy, and he was like, "Oh, you did the Toys R Us thing? We should chat." I remember walking in. I was visiting for some reason, some tech-related reason, you know. And of course, the joke with San Francisco is, if you don't know what all the billboards mean, then you're not allowed to be here, you know, the tech billboards. And I remember it was a last-minute decision. I came to the Midway, and there was some AI creative event happening here. And it was walk in, and of course, there's like artsy AI images on Polaroids all over the wall. And, you know, they had like some kombucha beer that they were serving or something like that. And then, you know, there's a room. It's probably like one of these rooms over here. You open it up. It's dark. You walk in. There's pillows all over the ground. You know, there's like artsy music being played. A woman with a cello is playing. People are in this trance. I'm just like, man, this is the most San Francisco shit ever. As a Los Angelino, you know, it's like, okay, but I can deal with it. I much prefer this kind of vibe. There's incredible storytellers here with Noah and Momo that just spoke. It was amazing getting a sense of their projects, seeing what they're up to, seeing what's next in the world of AI. So I'll introduce my company real quick and then kind of get into the rest of it all. Is my clicker working? Nope. Roll the tape or...
Native Foreign is a creative studio and agency powered by AI that puts human storytelling at the forefront of everything we do. From partnering with the biggest brands in the world to startups and everything in between, we are experts in authentic yet elevated storytelling. As pioneers in the AI space, we created the first ever brand film generated with AI that went ultra viral, reaching over 1.5 billion people. We also created one of the first animated AI shorts, Critters, which will become one of the first AI native IPs to become a feature film. We believe that these tools are ushering in a new age of creative, where we'll see a renaissance of independent storytelling that we are on the cutting edge of. We've embodied a create by any means necessary mindset for years, and now we've developed a slate of originals. We are WBNC certified, women-owned, packed with Emmy, Oscar, and Grammy-grade creatives, and excited to show you what's next. This is Native Foreign.
So that is us. That's what we're up to. Some very exciting times. And by the way, if there are any designers in this room that want to help me redo these slides, I was put to shame by how good Noah's slides looked. So, you know, hey, give me a shout. We're here to connect. So they are exciting times because we are here at the forefront. Every person in this room is pushing what storytelling is and what it means to be a creative in today's day and age. Things are rapidly changing, and it is the Wild West. If I could just get a quick show of hands, how many of you in this room consider yourselves creatives? There we go. So this is for you. I am a creative as well, and what I hope to tell you is let you in on some of the things that have worked for me in the last 4 years doing this whole AI thing. I have always been an artsy kid. My father was a famous artist in Soviet Russia, and he was actually persecuted by the communist government, the KGB, for wanting to paint. And he did paint some salacious things that criticized the government and Stalin and Lenin. You're not allowed to do that kind of stuff in Soviet Russia. So he tried to teach me how to paint. I couldn't draw a stick figure pony if my life depended on it. But I became a different kind of storyteller, which is a filmmaker. I was the kid with a camera walking around everywhere. I was the American Beauty kid. There's like a plastic bag floating. I'm like, all right, great, I got to get the shot. So I have lots of footage of the mid-'90s in Los Angeles that I'm going to train a model on one day and do something with. But I think when the AI models started doing videos, really when I started feeling empowered, right? DALL-E was cool, of course, and that expanded our minds and got very exciting. But when I felt really excited was the video models. And now we're getting to a point where things are very, very incredible and very exciting. So what is an AI artist now? It's a lot of things. And those of you in the room, I mean, it's a very entrepreneurial thing in many senses. Of course, there's the creativity. There's the creative aspect to it. But not only do you have to be creative, you also have to be technical. Okay? You need to know how to prompt. You need to know all the different things, and you got to keep up with the models. You got to subscribe to Machine Cinema and all the other, platforms that are keeping you informed on what's happening. Then you've got to be strategic, because of course it's not enough to be both creative and technical, two Venn diagrams, which are already kind of tough to find. But you've got to be thinking, okay, well, what's happening in the AI world now, and what can I do that's different? Oh, so-and-so just made a show or a series or a short that looks like this, so what am I going to do? How am I going to create something different and break out and catch some attention and ride this wave? That, of course, is predicated by narrative. In great storytelling, Momo was just talking about how, your story is your IP. Being able to really, really identify what your story is, what your narrative is, and let your voice shine through, I think is critical, because you are the only person that has your voice. And so really leaning into that is essential. There's ops, right? So it's not enough we had to do all that stuff. We also have to do operations. Some of us are lucky enough to have studios with ops people. Many of us, especially just, solo creators and artists, are kind of stuck doing everything, right? Doing booking and management and managing their time, how many projects they can juggle. So it's a pretty interesting time. But the last thing on this list, which is also kind of curious, is social, right? A lot of introverts in our space, I think. I myself am an introvert as well, although maybe some people would disagree with that. It's when you recharge. Do you recharge when you're alone or you're with people? That's how you know. But you have to be social, right? And we are here, and this is actually an incredible thing for us and for our community and for artists, because we get to be together, we get to be social, we get to share ideas, and I think that's an absolutely critical part of this. Don't go sequester yourself in a hole and just create great work by yourself. You have to get out there, you have to talk about it. And so any advice I'm imparting on our community is be out here, be shaking hands, kissing babies, all the good stuff. Because people are scared. Right now, more so than ever, we are seeing so much anti-AI sentiment. It's actually kind of nuts. I've been in this AI storytelling space for 4 years. Back in the Stone Ages of DALL-E, we pitched OpenAI, the original Critter short. And there was a lot of dystopian sci-fi stuff going on. And we were like, hey, what about this fun little family irreverent thing? What if it's a kind of David Attenborough Planet Earth meets a Monty Python sketch? And let's put that out. So Open funded that. And we made that short back then. That got the relationship with Open obviously going. Then I was invited to be part of the the initial Sora alpha group. Put out some fun Sora stuff, which I'll talk about. But it was the Toys R Us piece that was very, very, very controversial. And that's where, for me, all the death threats came and the Bible verses people sent to me. But I felt like things kind of calmed down after that a little bit. We were kind of like, the like, I'm going to kill you stuff turned into like, I am going to drop a bag of poop off at your door. And it was like, oh, okay, like, we're heading in the right direction with the threats. They're getting a lot less aggressive. But lately, I mean, certainly look at what just happened with the series that were announced. 2 of the 3 artists are out now, and just there's almost like Salem witch trials or, House of Un-American Activities Committee kind of vibe right now with something like, what, you're using AI? Like, are you kidding me? I, of course, am an optimist and believer that all of this will be a moot point, and we, as creatives, our job is always to push the bar up and do whatever we can as creatives to keep progressing, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. But right now, people are scared. So I do think it's very important for us to come together, uplift each other, support our art and our work, and really try to keep pushing things forward. This is a favorite quote of mine from an investor friend of mine, a personal friend, and that's it. That's where we are. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. This is our time. Like, right now is our time. It is your time to establish yourself. If you were a filmmaker that's now in the AI space, maybe you've come from design. I myself worked at a famous design company for many years called Digital Kitchen. We did a lot of main title sequences. I myself personally did the Narcos one. It is a great time, an opportunity to really flip the script and pick something that you're doing because, as you can all see, there are so many more entrants coming into the space constantly. Right now is your time to establish yourself, create your voice, and really get out there. So all of you being here at Upscale is fantastic because you can talk about the projects you're actively working on or about to pursue, make those connections, and really push things forward. Last time I was in the Bay, there's a place called the Walt Disney Family Museum. Not the corporate, the family put this museum together. Highly encourage you all to go check it out. It's very, very inspiring. It's just up north there by the water. It's got all these cool dioramas. You can see all of Disneyland, and it's kind of nerdy and fun. You can see all the fun, different things that Walt has done over the course of his career. Very, very real, not with no corporate spin on it, which is nice. When you walk in, it says this, which it just caught me. It was a little plaque. It wasn't like a big plaque. It was just this little thing. Caught my eye, right? Because it says, the world of animated cartoons was still in a formative state when Walt discovered it in 1920. There were few established rules or conventions. Most artists produced extremely simple films that relied on the novelty of moving drawings. I mean, that sounds so familiar to me of where we are now, the work that's been coming out in AI. That's where we are. Like, we are at the absolute infancy of this. And yes, we're 4 years in, right? Some of you are just starting out now. Some of you have been at this for a few years. Some of you have been at it for longer than me, or you've been at it since 2016 or whatever, thinking about AI. I'm always trying to surround myself with nerds and just think about what's interesting and what's happening. So some of you are already well ahead, but I think some people get scared. I also love this quote from Walt. I came to Hollywood and arrived here in August 1923 with $40 in my pocket and a coat and a pair of trousers that didn't match. And one half of my suitcase had shirts and underwear, and I was a little discouraged with cartoons at that time because I thought I was getting into it too late. So again, where are we now? Some of you might be coming in the room and be like, oh my God, well, like everyone's already established. No, there is so much time and space and room to really assert yourself and make something crazy. We are in the time right now where the newest IP is being built right before our eyes, and it's AI native too. That's the other thing. I mean, I'll keep my thoughts to myself to a degree, but if you're a studio building stuff, go with the native IP, right? Go with the people that are in AI that love this stuff, that are storytellers, that are going to crank this stuff out for you and never falter. I think we have to embrace that serendipity that Walt felt. We have to embrace the serendipity in this room. Being here at these AI conferences and events, the amount of people I met at Upscale last year was incredible. And as you're sitting here, you look to your left, you look to your right, that could be your next client, right? It could be your next collaborator, maybe. Could be your competition. And, I think there's a lot of frenemies in the room. And that's the state of things, because this is it. Like, this is our group. We are still so small, and we are growing every day. This is the fastest growing industry in the world right now. We are at the cutting edge of it. So it's extremely exciting that we are all here doing this. I'm going to talk about a few things I've learned over the course of doing this. These are some images from the original Critters short. And as you could see, things have come a long way. But really, ultimately, there's no magic button to anything that we're doing. I think there's a lot of misconceptions still in Hollywood with brands. And unfortunately, there's some headline chasing that happens, and people are like, hey, I made this in 2 hours for $20 of credits, and can you make a weekend project? Sure. But the truth is, there's a lot of great care, creativity, and storytelling that goes into anything successful. To that end, I do think we need creatives. We really need creatives, and honestly, probably more than ever. The difference between amateur kind of slop work and really great work is the creatives. And so I love surrounding myself with creative people and getting the opportunity to meet them at places like this. Lastly, I think true storytellers will win. It's so critical to identify your story and figure out what your voice is and what you want to put out into the world, right? I've thought a lot about this, as a father of a young kid. I think about the movies I liked when I was like 20, and now I hate all of them. I used to just be such a pretentious snob of filmmaking, and the more I get into things, it's like, man, I just want to make stuff that is uplifting, really spreads a nice message into the world, and that is where Critters comes into play. Critters obviously has a long and nuanced history in the AI storytelling world, and I'm happy to touch on that briefly. But ultimately, it's a big, cinematic, coming-of-age family adventure with the emotional core of a brother-sister story. For those of you that know me and know this project, it did start in 2022. We got it greenlit then. We did it over Christmas break, literally. 23, it came out for the 1-year anniversary of DALL-E being made. So April 2023, it came out. And then we took it to Tribeca, we took it to Annecy. We thought we were going to get murdered walking into a room or theater, huge theater full of animators. But surprisingly, maybe it's because back then this was pre-video generative tools, everyone was very receptive. Because again, we made the images with AI, but then we used Unreal Engine, we used Parallax and After Effects and all sorts of stuff to kind of bring the stories to life. Then we linked up with some Brits, and they were like, hey, aren't you guys thinking about this in a bigger way? I said, of course we are. But there's Hollywood strikes going on. There's all sorts of stuff happening. They said, listen, let us bring these writers in from Paddington and Peru. They worked on the Paddington series, and let's blow this out into a feature. So my buddy Chad and I, we said, of course. Chad now works at OpenAI, by the way. So we said, of course, let's do this. Let's make this as a feature. That developed, and then last fall we announced, hey, OpenAI is supporting this movie. Hoorah, let's go. We're going to do a thing at Cannes. It's going to be great. Of course, March of this year, RIP Sora. Sora, in the middle of our project, discontinued, obsolete. So as filmmakers that have now put ourselves at the hands and mercy of this technology, what are we supposed to do with that? In some ways it was horrible. In some ways it's great because the tech keeps evolving, keeps changing, and we're able to really, really align ourselves with the latest and greatest technology. And so that is what we're doing now. We had a very successful showing at Cannes this year, private showings, and we are working out kind of how this movie is going to meet the world. We're keeping it pretty close to our chest still, but I think building worlds is really what excites me. Of course, can't all be fun and games. You do have to keep the lights on. So I think studios like ours, independent, never raised a dollar of finance. We service clients, we do brand storytelling, and I think it's a great place. I think advertising is an amazing place to try out this technology, to put things out. Even back in 2024, when I was, one of the initial Sora artists, and they were like, hey, Nick, make a little thing with Sora so we could put it out there. This is what I made, which is
Now available in extra salty. Available wherever fine beverages are sold.
Because why not, right? This is, of course, thank you for the claps, yes. This is what this technology is for. But again, being a creative in the ad world and having done lots of ads, I said, okay, weekend projects are great, but what is the true mark of whether something is working or not? It's working with an actual brand, right? And I knew that I wanted to have an iconic American brand do something. I wanted to really push what was possible with these AI tools in 2024 and say, let's fucking make the first AI commercial. Let's go hard. Who's going to do it? Now, of course, I'm working with brands all day long, and I know how complicated brands are, especially Fortune 500 companies. There are so many stakeholders that now when people ask me, they're like, hey, so can you do an AI project for me in 2 weeks or whatever? I'm like, can you respond to an email I send you in 2 weeks? I mean, that is the speed of brands, right? But it came to me, and it came to me actually through a community engagement, not unlike this. It was a group of people. I met the CMO of Toys R Us talking about what I'm doing with AI. She's like, oh, I've been interested in AI. I was like, great. Have I got the thing for you? Let's shake things up. And we did create the first AI brand film with Toys R Us. They were a fantastic partner. As I mentioned in my little video at the top, went very viral. You could find it online. You could find it on our website, nativeforeign.co. We couldn't get the comms. Somebody's fucking sitting on it still. Beyond that, we've worked with so many other brands. We've had the good fortune of having Delta as a client. As a Diamond Medallion member myself, when I pulled out the card and showed them, they basically hired me right on the spot because they're like, man, poor guy. It's not by flying Delta One. I put in the work, flying. But we got a chance to create their centennial film. It was at the Sphere, and we used AI to visualize what the future of flight would look like through the eyes of kids. So we actually would ask kids, hey, what do you think planes are going to be? Oh, they're going to have feathers on them. We make it real quick, show it back to them, and then you capture that natural reaction from them, right? So it's using AI to bring out human happiness and joy. We also made this whole film, which is a hybrid of live action with some AI elements. So I'll just play this little bit here.
As human beings, we share an instinctive need to constantly look forward. We are propelled by curiosity and a deep desire to forge bonds that transcend borders. The dream of distant places ignites the desire to explore, connect, and let the imagination soar. With every flight, we become closer to each other and to ourselves. With childlike wonder, we travel everywhere and imagine a world where everything is possible.
So seeing that at the Sphere was obviously very, very exciting. Thank you. And that's real Viola. That's not VO Viola. That's real Viola. Delta can afford that. I can't. We got to partner on a multitude of projects with Virgin Voyages. So Virgin has a cruise line. It has 4 ships, each represented by a mermaid. And they told me, like, listen, this is storytelling we've been wanting to do forever, for the longest time, but this would be millions and millions and millions of dollars. They have some money, but not that much for this kind of storytelling, right? So this was another perfect use case where AI was able to come in and we were able to tell these stories of these mermaids. They did a whole rollout, very successful launch campaign. We did a whole speaking tour about it, which was great. And beyond that, Sir Richard Branson was so into it, he was like, we need more mermaids on the ship everywhere. So, you could see him standing in front of one of the mermaids there. They have a rockumentary show about his life that we got to be a part of. And this is the great thing about AI is we're able to keep iterating and keep exploring. And Virgin Voyages has been such an incredible partner because they've been on that journey with us. And they're like, yeah, let's try something new. Let's try this. Let's try that. And so what I'm going to do now is give you a very, very exclusive preview for Magnific's Upscale Conference of the next work we are doing with Virgin Voyages that's coming out. And you might recognize some members of our community in this film. Because for me, what's really important is us all coming together and creating beautiful work together. So without further ado, here's our preview.
Virgin Voyage is really like the original piece that we made. We've been talking about how do we get deeper in on these mermaid origin stories. And not just that, but how can we take a different approach to them? We've already done the kind of live action version. What else can we do in more of an animated or specific look?
And then Virgin came up with the idea of giving each mermaid a different animation style. The beautiful thing about us working with artists from all over the world is that each of them brings their own perspective and really offers a unique point of view.
Anything that is a concept that is more than what we are and something that we aspire to is what I crave in my life. I want to be in an environment where people are doing things and they're interested and excited about it, and where AI can be the bridge between creativity and technology. With my directing AI work, I've been heavily focusing on creative workflows, focusing on how we can use these tools to create the best possible stories. I love the adaptations of comic books because it always shows a character that is kind of like an underdog rising to the occasion. With this project and with Valiant's character, she's a very bold character. I wanted her to have bold outlines and this comic book feel, but then I wanted her to also be able to move in a way that is very organic. AI was integral in the whole process of making this. I really rely on Magnific. It excited me being able to take what is in my brain and put it out on the screen and into the world.
Locking the story is paramount, and then deal with any discrepancies in style.
We're in Mexico City, a city full of color, full of music, sounds, textures. You're hungry all the time in Mexico City because you find the smells and you just want to eat everything.
You come to a market, you see wonderful colors. You go to the Lucha Libre. Color is something we have on our DNA.
For Resilient, we found a lot of inspiration with Maria Berrios, great collage artist. Magnific. It's great to find the correct pace, the correct rhythm to tell this amazing story of Resilient. She's filled with the vibe and the soul of all Latin America.
I am living in Cannes. I came here because of the war in Ukraine. I love France, I love the food, I love the art here, the culture. For Scarlet's look, I took inspiration from French New Wave movies. I inspired by films of Jean-Luc Godard. Magnific helped me to realize any idea. I love to create AI videos.
I started in the music business as a composer. I have done Holly Dolly. It was a top 10 Billboard. This helped me to understand the rhythm, the flow of storytelling. We are in Milan. I feel the history. I really love to live in the middle of the past and the future. A lot of modern fashion inspired me to create Brilliant. Brilliant is a leader, a mermaid made with this dress like an octopus. The octopus has arms that are independent, like Brilliant. The main artist that inspired me was Yamamoto. He mixed the traditional Japanese anime with watercolor. I really love to mix this kind of elements. The importance of storytelling is the final emotion that you want to bring out to the audience.
Having Willonius come in and do the music helps tie all these stories together.
I've been making music, for 20 years. Any creative challenge to me is like an opportunity to stretch yourself and kind of see what you're capable of.
I love how many stops and starts there are. Right. It's so cinematic.
The music is trying to take the audience to this dream world. The main intention behind all the tracks was trying to make something that felt big, felt strong and powerful.
In this life, oftentimes we're put in situations where we can choose to grow from them and become our own superheroes. And I'm just gonna be the most badass that I can be.
Thank you to all the amazing artists that contributed to this. I just want to leave you with that your current skills are your leverage, right? A lot of us have been storytellers and filmmakers, so the composition, the editing, the design literacy, your taste, your voice, don't throw it all away. Use this, build on that, because you are much further along than you think you are, especially if you're just starting out in the AI world. there's a lot of solo creators. Of course, I'm a solo creator in many ways. And you might think that you by yourself, can win the game, right? And this image might be painful to some of you in the audience. But if you think you're Brunson, sure. But look at what he did, right? Only 3 points, but all those rebounds really helped the Knicks win last night. So I just want to leave you with the teamwork, okay? If you want to win, AI is a team sport. Of course, you can go it alone, but make friends here, collaborate, and the next wave of storytelling has already begun. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.